Hello everyone, I am Kartik Sharma from ETGovernment and I welcome all of you at the ETGovernment 3rd National PSU Summit. And right now we are here for a fireside chat with Mr. Sameer Raje, General Manager and Head of India and SAARC for Zoom Video Communications. Welcome, Mr. Sameer.
Thank you, Kartik. It's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you to the entire team and the audience out here.
Thank you, Sameer. So the topic of this fireside chat is expand government services with the video communication platform. As we all know that technology has been critical in the rapid digital transformation journey of the government and public sector during the pandemic for central government, state government, and local governments. And we have all seen that video collaboration can help greatly with working more efficiently, serving constituents more effectively, and reducing costs in the process. So my first question to Mr. Sameer Raje is, Mr. Sameer, what do you think? How has digital transformation improved during the pandemic in the government ecosystem?
All right, thank you, Kartik. And as I meet a lot of people and senior, CIOs and CDOs and government officials, this question often comes up: that digital transformation and pandemic drove the digital transformation, right? I would say that the digital transformation, in fact, began in our country a lot before even the pandemic happened, and it has been, pandemic made a couple of changes. And before I get into that, I think the key aspect to look at would be the fact that the digital payments, if you may look at, it began a lot more before the pandemic came in. People were used to using digi wallets and the rest of the stuff for making payments. Today, even a small street side vendor who is selling vegetables probably has a QR code put on his or her, maybe a tela or something like that, where you can actually scan and make the payment. How amazing is that? What if it is not a digital transformation? That's the digital transformation, right? And it began all out there. We saw uptake in digital tools, and we saw uptake in digital payments, and so on and so forth, right? And that was the initial thing. In the pandemic, however, a couple of other things changed. First was the service provider itself. First, it was a push maybe from the government side to adopt digital tools. There was a push to adopt, DigiLocker and rest of the applications and so on and so forth. However, during the pandemic, the consumers themselves changed and adopted how they started utilizing the collaboration tools, how they started using digital tools for various aspects, be it issuing payments, be it online banking, be it buying things, buying experience, and so on and so forth. Suddenly, everything became digital. And that's what happened. The service providers as well as the consumers both changed during the pandemic, and this was the pace of this transformation was breathtaking. Probably what would have taken a couple of decades to happened just in a period of a year or so. And that is what happened during the pandemic. The service providers as well as the consumers both changed. And the change happened across the spectrum, be it private segment or be it the government segment as a service provider, and the consumers, right from the small children who didn't go to school, didn't use notebooks and use digital mediums like iPads and tablets to utilize their writing skills. From there to senior citizens attending, maybe pujas and satsangs and prayers and so on and so forth online. Even condolence meets and everything started happening online, which was that's a form of transformation, and that's what we saw. That's what happened during the pandemic.
Right, Mr. Raje. I think the government sector has also seen a lot of digital transformation in this pandemic. So my question to you is that, according to you, what should be the key consideration for the government organization in government service space as they now fully embrace the video collaboration?
Well, to be honest with you, if this question would have come up maybe 3 years before, video collaboration, sounds so much of jingle, right? Video collaboration, heavy technology. I don't know what it is, and why should I use it, and how do I use it? And it would mean that installing some heavy equipment somewhere and cameras and setting up a large conference rooms and so on and so forth. It's no longer the case. Today, things have changed so much. Today, conferencing and collaboration is anywhere and anywhere. It's become part and parcel of life. Your video is utilized by people even walking down the street. If you see normal layman, or even if you see uh, 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 you know the most non-tech savvy person in a village probably has begun using video today, because what happens is they want to see the face of their loved one, near ones and dear ones. Hey, let me make a video call to you, rather than rather than doing just an audio call. So that's the difference what we are seeing. As a government service organization, what happens is, if this seriousness, or if this technology is looked upon as what the consumers have adopted in their day-to-day life, and not looked upon as some complicated piece of machinery that is getting implemented, then it becomes much different. And let me give you an example. If this video is implemented as a part and parcel of if it is made of embedded into the daily workflows, like for example, if it is used for hybrid education, if it is used for some form of communication, if it is used for all the healthcare services and so on and so forth, right? And it becomes a part of the workflows, it becomes embedded as a normal what do you say, a normal thing, right? Rather than a technology, complicated technology being implemented and utilize video complication collaboration, then it makes a huge difference. And that's the beauty of it.
But can you just give us more insights that how could this video collaboration technology enable immersive and inclusive experiences for all the employees, including the ones that are working remotely or are on the move in case of frontline teams?
Sure. I think the key consideration is point number one. The technology should be immersive, friction-free, and easy to use. That's, I think, the key to any success. As I mentioned, right? And if it is implemented as a form of collaboration within the workflows, rather than saying that I'm using a digital technologies separately, or implementing some heavy equipment and complicating the issue, it should be simple, easy to use, and probably available at a touch of a button within the applications, or within the environment itself where you're doing something. Like for example, we have digi wallets, or we have digilocker, or we got healthcare services, right? National healthcare governance, and we've got so many things over there. If it is just embedding video into that, then that's the pure beauty of collaboration. And that's the key consideration that we should be having, rather than saying that I want to look at video as an additional service, something of that sort. And the key factor is that if the collaboration technologies are a little bit difficult to use, do not work at lower bandwidth, are not or need education, need training, handholding, that's where things start failing down. So the technology should be easy to use, immersive, and friction free at a touch of a button.
Right, Mrs. Sameer, throw some light on what kind of disruptions do you see in the government service space, that would shape the future of the good governance?
Well, absolutely. And, there are some great examples and disruptions. Now, if you look at a couple of initiatives that our government of India is driving, right? I mean, we heard our Honorable Prime Minister speaking recently at one of the conclaves, where he was talking about hybrid systems in schools to avoid overexposure exposure technology to children. He was also talking about the need of hybrid education to ensure that we reach to the lengths and breadths of the country. And UGC has already embarked on that program of hybrid education, for especially in the higher education segment, online education, and so on and so forth. Similarly, on the healthcare, we have initiatives like e-Rakt Kosh and so on and so forth, and providing healthcare to our a lot of people and the population that we have in remote villages and so on and so forth. So I think if implemented appropriately, embedded into this, then it's a complete different format. Now, what happens? What I mean by that is, let's take an example of those Anganwadis, or if take an example of some of the healthcare services provided in the remote locations. Similarly, Health Seva, the recently launched initiative by the government of India, if collaboration is embedded into all this, providing kiosks in remote location, and people can reach the specialists or doctors at a touch of a button, that's what the governance and that's what the serviceability is. And this, I can just keep on adding to it, but there are so many initiatives that can be run in by the government in this space, and can be brought in. Of course, there are a couple of other aspects of governance around this, which is like the security and keeping the databases secure, also ensuring privacy of the users and so on and so forth, which need to be implemented appropriately. And these are the areas which probably, if implemented, it would set the right example.
Right, Mr. Raje, I think you spoke about government services and how they can collaborate with the video collaboration technology. If you could, share some insights on the modern governance and the e-services that can be delivered through video collaboration, the virtual collaboration rather. And if you can please share some global use cases, if you throw some light on that.
Sure. I mean, why go global use cases, right? We can talk about a lot of use cases within the country, and some of the digital initiatives, like again, the government of India is driving. We were probably one of the largest countries with the most population, and look at the amount of vaccination that we've achieved, right? It was possible only through digitization, the COVID app. And when this COVID app was taken global, well, it happened over Zoom, right? That's the beauty of it. Similarly, there are so many initiatives. Like, let's talk about initiatives at some of the state levels where we were working very closely with the state governments, and we saw some good initiatives by the UP state, some of the good initiatives by the Maharashtra state BMC, where we could provide, where Zoom played a very critical role in helping the government coordinate between the offices as well as the field force to coordinate and educate them better, and also gather the data back to the HQ or to the state governance, thereby rolling out good practices, do's and don'ts, and so on and so forth. So these are the kind of things, and in states like UP and remote villages, right? I mean, that's so critical to pass on information at the ground level. So we've seen a lot of these kind of use cases and examples in our country. When we talk about e-services, what are e-services, right? I mean, if we talk about e-services like DigiLocker, or we talk about e-Raktakosh and so on and so forth, well, it's easy to say, but the beauty lies in how do we really embed collaboration into a physical world and reduce the friction, and empower the field force more, or empower the people who are coordinating more, healthcare workers more, educators more. And that's what we need to do. Everything is e-services today, nothing is physical, right? Because with e-services or with collaboration, we have been able to go deeper. We have been able to reach more people. So it's no longer about e-services, it's about enabling those physical world into an e-world. That's what it is about.
Right. So when governments talk about taking the government services at the doorstep of the people, I think in that sense, video collaboration or virtual collaboration will make a great sense. And I think it will definitely transform the future of governance in the country. So lastly, as we close this discussion, Mr. Raje, what is your message for the people of government fraternity to move towards video or virtual collaboration?
Well, the last message, or probably one of the messages which I would like to leave, is the fact, as I said, right? I mean, it's about empowering the physical world with the virtual world. We are human beings. We cannot live without the physical world. We have to be there in touch with each other. We have to shake hands with each other. We have to interact with each other. But if this same thing is empowered by a virtual world and brought in together in conjunction with the physical world, then the strength is huge. The reach is humongous. And what achievements can be had through it is simply phenomenal. What we could do in some of the states during the second or the third wave of the COVID, where we could restrict, which could educate people. So I would say, look at video collaboration as an enabler to the physical world, and to increase the reach and collaborate better. That's what I would leave you with.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Sameer Raje, General Manager and Head of India and SAARC for Zoom Video Communications, for a insightful and wonderful discussion on expand government services with the video communication platform. A great topic and a great speaker to discuss with. Audience, thank you so much. We are closing this talk here, and stay with us for the next discussions and presentations. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Sameer.